Hello and welcome back to another Walking Dead Daryl Dixon video, and today I want to talk about Rick Grimes and will we see him appear at some point in the Walking Dead Daryl Dixon. And the whole reason I'm making this video is because Andrew Lincoln has said in multiple interviews recently that he's open to returning to the character of Rick Grimes and the Walking Dead universe, but under certain circumstances. And I think personally, these certain circumstances align most with Daryl Dixon at this moment in time. And I don't think Andrew Lincoln will return in any big role. I just think we would get a supporting character for Andrew Lincoln. He'd be that big. Or a cameo in Daryl Dixon in its final season maybe. And I don't think it would be Daryl Dixon he appears in, not Dead City, because Andrew Lincoln wants to come back to The Walking Dead in a way where The Walking Dead is back at its old state, where it's about survival and the stakes were low. It was a survival horror show, there was no big action, no big world-ending events, and because of that, I think that rules Dead City out, because Dead City is very big scale compared to Daryl Dixon. Daryl Dixon is really a character-focused show, and it's focused mostly on Daryl trying to get home, but being torn because he's found his new home. Whereas Dead City is this big-scale show about these two factions getting ready to go to war with each other. You have New Babylon wanting to take the Dead City, that is New York, and you have Negan rebuilding the Saviors. That's a very big-scale story, and Andrew Lincoln wouldn't want to come back for that, but Daryl Dixon ticks the boxes, and with it being another country, new threats, that ticks more the boxes for Andrew Lincoln to want to return, because Rick wouldn't be this absolute badass anymore. He will have these new threats that he's never faced, like variant walkers. So that will push Rick back into a bit of a rookie in some aspects, with him not being able to deal with certain walkers, being a bit confused. So that's what Andrew Lincoln wants, and that's why I think it's possible he will return in Daryl Dixon for a cameo or smaller role. And it also helps that in season 1, Rick has already been mentioned and he's already been teased in this show. So that makes me think that Rick will come back in some form at the ending of Daryl Dixon, and the way I think it's going to happen is that after Carol goes missing because she goes to find Daryl at the ending of season 1 and season 2 and she'll be here in season 3, Rick's like, where's Carol gone? Daryl's missing, Carol's now missing, so Rick then goes off himself to try and find Daryl and Carol, and that's when he will end up in France or wherever the show takes place. In the final season, maybe it takes place in America, so you could easily write Rick into the story, and his role be very small scale, maybe him reacting to the walkers, and he will have this survival horror aspect, which the actor wants, and that'll be him come back for that little role. And I think the purpose of Rick in the final season would be to kind of give his blessing that's okay for Daryl to go back to France. I generally do believe Daryl, by the end of the show, will decide to go back to France to be with Isabel and to be the father figure for Laurent, and that's how the show's going to end. And I think Rick is going to be there to give him the push, to be like, you can go, it's okay, you looked after my family, I've now returned, now go off and be with your new family. And that's what I think Rick's role is going to be in Daryl Dixon, and that's how I think we're going to have him return. We know there's this potential crossover, this 8 spin-off, and that's probably going to happen after the ending of Daryl Dixon and Dead City, and I think Daryl won't be in that because Daryl was probably going to be in France, this will take place in America, so Rick would be in that show for sure if it does happen, but that's not a guarantee. But Daryl Dixon season 4 or finale would be a guarantee, and I think Rick has to be and will be in the final season of Daryl Dixon to have that big reunion with Daryl and to say goodbye and give his blessing for Daryl to go back to France or stay in France to be with his new family. But as always, it's just my opinion, so please tell me down below, do you agree with me, do you disagree with me? I want to know all your thoughts down below, and if you think Daryl Dixon will not have Rick Grimes appear in it, do you think he might come in Dead City, or do you think we'll never see Rick Grimes again? I'll listen to all your thoughts down below. But this is it for me today, so goodbye, peace out, and I'll talk to you later.